Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And I have a terrific surprise for you. A young lady is in our area here to help straighten out the education system. I mean, you know, we never had a female president here, but that we do now, Dr. Bowe. Hey, welcome to the Ed Brown Show.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. It's an honor and a privilege and to be here with you today.
And anything that I can do to help you out there at Bowie State, just let me know. And the programming, everything, we're going to get into some of the things that you have been involved. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I started on July 1st at Bowie State University, and it's been a total thrill for me. I formerly was with Millersville University up in Pennsylvania as part of the state system schools in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, I'm from Philly.
Oh, well, I'm from Philadelphia.
Yeah, you are?
I am. I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm a graduate of the public school system in Philadelphia.
All right.
So
I went to West Philadelphia High, played with Will
really?
Chamberlain and all of that.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, my mother is a graduate of Overbrook.
Overbrook High?
Yes.
That was our rival.
Yes, I know. Yes. The orange and black.
Right.
Yes, I know
right.
it well.
Right.
And so I grew up at 57th and Jefferson in Philadelphia.
Yeah, 61st and Calla Hill.
So we probably crossed paths, I'm sure, many times.
Maybe they didn't have trolley cars then.
Oh, no, they had trolley cars.
They still had the trolley
cars.
cars.
Have them there, and great cheesesteaks, too.
Right, right.
Yes, so I'm very honored and proud to be here with Bowie State now, and it's been just an incredibly welcoming experience for me, and I feel truly honored to serve as the first female president, as you said.
Yeah.
Yes, the university was founded, I'm sure you know, in 1865, and so to be the first is truly an honor after all those many years.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
And so Bowie is going through a lot of change these days. I'm very excited about the growth that's happening on the campus. We just brought in the largest incoming class in the history of the university.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They found out you were coming, you know.
I think that must be it. I think that's probably the reason.
Let me get over there. I want to put that on my resume.
Yes. So it's exciting to have so many students coming to us. Over 1,000 students enrolled in the incoming class this year.
Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, the word went fast.
Yes,
you know?
And I think they must be finding out about all of the programming that's happening there in the STEM areas. I don't know if you're aware, we're growing quite a bit in science, technology, engineering, and math, and especially in the cybersecurity area.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yes.
All right. And I figured, you know, there's a void involved, you know, that as far as the historical black universities, you know, and I mentioned some of the backbone of the education system come out of there. And my friend Doug Wilder is an example of that. He's from Virginia Union, you know, and the fact that he has obtained the highest office. So, you know, when you deciding, you know, about these colleges and everything, you know, the HBUs are number one. They're along the lines because it depends on the individual applying themselves, and that's
certainly.
what we have to do.
Well, the historically black colleges and universities have been the anchor to so many communities, and today they still provide outstanding education, Bowie State being the first historically black institution in the state of Maryland.
Right.
Will continue to adhere to access and affordability to quality education.
Right.
And I underscore the quality aspect because there's so much that's happening there to bring students in, ensure that they're keeping pace with the workplace and what the workplace needs are. But we want to see our students go on. If they aspire to go into graduate school, we want to make sure that they are prepared to go on to grad schools as well. So still we provide an outstanding educational experience for our students.
Well, what do you think about? I know when I made my choice, I was going to West Philadelphia High, and my mother said, "Hey, where you want to go to school?" I said, "It says Temple is what do you call it, University of Pennsylvania, and Liz, I was walking distance to University, 61st Street. And I said, you know, one thing, I don't know any black history. I said, in the Philadelphia system, I said, I learned about George Washington, you know, but I didn't hear anything about George Washington Carver. You know, I had to do that myself. So I made I guess maybe say I want to go to a historical black college, because it was a shame that I wasn't able to get that exposure while I was there, because I had the opportunity to go to Cheney. I had the opportunity.
Cheney is part of the state system.
Right, right. Cheney, right, and Lincoln.
Yes.
But I want to get away from home. You know,
Oh, well, that's
you know how kids say, oh no, I want to get away from home.
You wanted to go a little further away.
So I said, I want to go get away from home, but I want to be in commuting distance, so if I need something.
Come over to Bowie.
So now I went to Virginia Union, and I said, well, that was associated with my church.
Oh,
you know.
See.
So
well, many of the historically black colleges and universities were founded by churches or other organizations, and Bowie actually was founded in the basement of a church up in Baltimore. And here we are today with over 6,000 students on the campus. And so
6,000 students?
6,100 students total, undergraduate and graduate. And studying, we started out in education, but now today we have over 22 disciplines, and we're growing. And so there's so much choice with liberal arts and the performing arts and the sciences. So we are a full university, and education is still very much a part of our curriculum, but we have so much more.
Right, and really the cost. You know, when I was you're familiar with Bach High School,
in Philadelphia, yes.
Yeah, but it seemed to me now they're forgetting the vocational aspects of education, because of the fact that every child can't afford the college.
Right. Well,
you know.
Yeah, it's interesting you should mention that. As part of my vision, what I've talked to many in the community about is about partnerships with educational institutions, and looking beyond just partnering with not just with community colleges, although that is part of my vision, but I also see as part of the future for public universities is to partner with other educational institutions to ensure a pathway into other learning environments. So for the very reason that you're talking about, some students may not want to go on to four-year schools, but they may go into the Vo-Tech schools, and then their minds are opened up to new ideas and may want to come on to Bowie's campus and enroll there. So we want to ensure that we are creating pathways K through 12th grade, and ensuring that they're prepared to go on to Vo-Tech, and then if they want to go on to Bowie and other schools, then they have the preparation they need to pursue that. And some may say, well, I want to go to community college. So they still need to be prepared to enter into the 2-year schools, the 4-year schools, and to progress. So that's part of my vision, is to partner with K through 12th grade. And I talk about K through 20, not just K through 12th, because if those students aren't prepared early on in K through 12th grade, they're not going to have those pathways open up to them to go into a 2-year or a 4-year school.
And there's the advantage. I know my son took advantage of that. He went to the community college first.
Good.
Okay, he found out, you know, well, the atmosphere, you know, helped decide what field that he wanted to go in, and plus the fact that you get that environment, and then you can decide if you want to, but you have one degree.
Yes, yes.
You know, and that's the thing that pushed a lot of the youngsters into the 4-year colleges.
Well, we're looking to partner, again, more and more with community colleges, and making sure that if a student wants to go on to to come to Bowie, they will be prepared. So we have articulation agreements with Prince George's County for a 2+2
I know. I've
program.
had the president on
Oh,
the
so
show.
you know all about it. You're ahead of the game. You know all about
Yeah,
it. So then you know that we're looking to expand so much more in those types of programs. You know, looking at 3+2 or 2+2, so that a student sees the pathway through and doesn't have to just stop and say, oh, now I have to transfer all these credits. It's more of an automatic process for them to come into the four-year schools.
Yes, right. So what about the, you know, I notice I'm a type of individual, you know, when I get involved in things, I like to see for myself, you know. And I visit, why is it that the females really outnumber the males? Well, what do you think is the cause of that? I was on your campus yesterday, you know, and I sat in the car, just observe, and I have a reputation from the planning board and with the police department or the lab of anything, and planning board, anything I'm involved in, I like to go and actually observe some of the things that I'm going to make a decision on, see, without, you know, a staff report or something like that. I can go and see that. What do you think of that male and female?
Well, I think there are a number of factors that impact on enrollment, especially when it pertains to gender. I think male students especially need to see the role models and get that encouragement they need to go on to pursue education and to see that as highly valued. And you know, sometimes our students aren't always seeing the role models that they need to, and see that they can aspire to get their doctoral degrees, that they can go on to graduate school. And so I think it takes, you know, young men working with the K through 12th grade population of students and saying, you can do that. And there are organizations out here that do that. Earlier today, I was...
That are stimulating the male?
Yes, they are. Earlier today, I was at a meeting with the Prince George's County Business Roundtable, and there was a gentleman there talking about, he was representing PAL, the Police Athletic Association.
Right.
And that group is doing some amazing work in helping our young men to see where they can go and how they can aspire to higher levels going into the police force, but just pursuing education. And they're supporting them. And then there are the groups like the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Oh, yes.
Where they're
very
encouraging
strong
young people to value education and to see that pathway through. And for some of our students who are coming from first-generation families, they may not always have those role models at home saying, oh, here's how you navigate through the college experience. So to the extent we can put those role models in front of young men especially, encourage them to pursue education, I think that helps tremendously in ensuring that they get that encouragement. Because sometimes I've heard from students who are on the campus, and they'll tell me stories about where they weren't encouraged when they were younger, and it wasn't until someone, either a teacher or someone in a church, has said, no, you can pursue education, higher learning, and you need to do that. And just having that encouragement goes so far in a young person's life in encouraging them to see beyond what's in front of them, but to see that vision and know that they can do that. So I think that can make a huge difference in a young person's life.
Great. Okay, tell us some of the things. I know when you go move from, I've done that, and I think many of us are different positions and jobs. There's things that you want to change. Some of the things that you have set up for the future of Bowie State.
Well, I see Bowie as this wonderful gem sitting here in Prince George's County. And there's great opportunity for us to ensure that others outside of this county, inside the county, know what a wonderful asset we have right here.
Right.
So when you were talking about your thoughts of where you could go to school, to study, I would love for the person up in Philadelphia today to know about Bowie and all that's here. And being from Philadelphia, I'm going to make sure that that happens.
Right.
I want to make sure that everyone in this region realizes what Bowie is today and what type of education we afford to students. Again, I was talking about the STEM areas, but we have this magnificent new building on campus that I'm not sure everyone is aware of.
Wonderful.
It's the new Center for Natural Science, Mathematics, and Nursing. It's home to state-of-the-art classrooms, what we call smart classrooms.
I've been in them.
But these are, they're not the classroom that I remember from years ago.
No.
They have state-of-the-art equipment inside. We have laboratories that are state-of-the-art. And on the second floor of the facility, we have this amazing nursing simulation laboratory that has these robotic and computerized mannequins on which to train young nurses to prepare for the workplace. And that is, it's second to none. And so Bowie Today, when I think about my vision, what I want, I start with, I want to hold fast to the history and the legacy as the first historically Black institution of higher learning in the state of Maryland. But secondly, I want to make sure that everyone knows about Bowie Today and the kind of educational experience they can get from BSU. And that includes these state-of-the-art facilities in addition to the Center for Natural Science, Mathematics, and Nursing. We also have a state-of-the-art performing arts center. And we have incredible lessons and academic experiences for students who want to go into the performing arts, such as music, and also
I was there at their first opening, and it was wonderful. I was so proud.
Were you? Oh,
yes.
Yes. And then there are some students who want to study the management of music. And music technology is one of our fastest growing areas that students are coming to us and learning about how to manage the hip hop business and the behind the scenes. And so they're aspiring to new career paths. And then we have a concentration, a major in entrepreneurship. And we will be integrating entrepreneurship throughout the curriculum.
That was my next subject, entrepreneurship. I think that's very crucial in our society.
It is.
That we understand. We've always been buyers, you know what I mean? But the business world, and just like an article I gave you a copy of, the business world is the key. And the youngsters have to realize.
And small business.
Small business.
Yes.
Because in Philly there, my father had a corner store. During that time, that was restricted to certain groups to have those corner stores in there. But he was insisting on having he didn't have the best equipment, like the truck and everything wasn't the latest, and he'd moving coal. That was when coal and wood was the major form of, major form of heating and cooking.
Well, when you look at the economic development in most major cities, what you see is a huge amount of growth with small businesses, and startup businesses.
Right.
And so as part of my vision, I want to ensure that every student, regardless of their major, has that experience and exposure to learning about how to create new businesses, but how to think in an entrepreneurial manner. So it requires a certain skill set to start up your own business.
Right.
But also for large organizations that are looking for individuals who can evolve as businesses are evolving. It requires a certain kind of mindset.
Right.
So if there's going to be a merger and an acquisition coming up, that employee needs to get in that mindset of thinking, how do I reinvent myself for that business that's employing me? But also, if my business is going to be acquired, perhaps that individual needs to think about moving on to reinvent themselves. So it's a mindset that we're trying to create within our curriculum for the students to understand how the workplace is evolving and changing rapidly, and they need to become lifelong learners and know how to change and reinvent themselves and to create value for their businesses today, and then as those businesses change, how they need to keep pace with those workplace environments.
That's excellent.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to have you on the show, and I want to make this a continuous thing of progress along the lines that are being made and needs that the university have, and you can utilize my facility here for things, especially with the young people. They need the exposure, and I want to thank you for taking time to come out. And you can just look at the Ed Brown Show as a spokesman for Bowie State University.
Thank you so very much.
So once again, I want to thank you for taking time, but we're proud of you, and anything we can do to help you be successful, just call on us.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
This has been Ed Brown. Hey, look, we have some young people. We talked about young people. We talked about getting involved, and we have some young politicians and board members. You know, we need you on the board, not just to tell you what to do. Get some ideas from you young people out there. This has been Ed Brown. See you in a second. And we're going to have, like I say, one a councilman. One is on the school board. I know a lot you want to hear something from him. Hi, welcome back to the Ed Brown Show. And we just had a wonderful lady here, Dr. Bowe, and now we have two outstanding young men here in the county. And I'm so proud to have them aboard. Their involvement into the political system, the economic system is wonderful. And this is the example that we need as far as voting is concerned. These young men here, we have two of them, you know, and Sherman Hardy, he's running in the 9th district, and Ed Burroughs, he's on the school board. And hey, we don't have enough time to listen to Ed about the school board, so he'll be back to 29th, isn't that right, Ed?
That's right.
Okay, and these two young men, we don't have much time today, but this is the introduction of what you're gonna miss if you don't see that show. Hey, Ed, welcome to the Ed Brown Show. I'm so proud of you when you stand up against the establishment and talk, you know, we talk about us guys been in a few years, you know. We want input from young people, and then when the young people want to give input, well, not that kind of input. We want a yes and no vote, you know. we want to give you any information. But anyway, tell us a little bit. How did you get involved in the school board? That's a terrific position and so very important for the future.
Absolutely, and thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your viewers. So I started back just as an SGA president at Crossland High School. Because I was involved in the SGA, I was able to travel around to different high schools, and I saw their facilities. Most of the schools in the county had an auditorium, but not Crossland. And so I said, you know, why not my school?
Right.
And so the student government got together along with the PTSA, the Civic Association. We went to our county council member, our delegates, and our senators, and we started lobbying the school board to get Crossland an auditorium. That's how I started, trying to get Crossland an auditorium.
Well, because there was a need.
Absolutely.
And you saw the need, and the only way that you saw that need was that you got involved.
Absolutely.
You could have gone to the school and say, well, it needs this, and go back home and say, well, I don't have time for that, you know what I mean? And then the setbacks that you had, I'm sure that you were encouraged by other members and members of the schools get involved, you know? So you say, hey, well, this is a good idea for me to give input.
That's right.
You know, and see, we need input from all levels, you know, not just one level, not from the old guys, you know. we need it on all levels, and this is what you brought to the board. And I talked to a lot of the people around, and they're very proud of you, the fact that you're able to hold your own, you know, in a professional manner. So, I mean, you keep up the good work there. Okay, Sherman, tell us about yourself. Sherman's an old hat. He's been on before, but he's running in the 9th district.
Yes.
That's down there by MGM and everything. So
Yeah, it's South County and encompasses Clinton, Maryland, Fort Washington, Accokeek, Baden, Upper Marlboro, down to Aquasco and Eagle Harbor. And I'm an Air Force veteran. I was in the military for 5 years, and then I transitioned out of the military and the service into the federal government. That's what brought me to the DC metropolitan area. And currently I'm a business owner, and I've seen the needs of the community.
good. You're a business owner.
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
I'm a realtor here in the area.
See, I didn't know that before. I'm glad I asked the question.
Yes, yes. And it was important because, you know, I've met so many people who were homes are going to be foreclosed on, and you know, I had to assist them with their transition and, you know, in their homes. And, you know, I talked to many seniors who were going to be displaced, and, you know, they said that the only amount of money that they had was $800 a month in order to get housing. And we know in this area, you can't afford housing for $800.
You're right.
And so those were the things that, you know, led me to want to get involved more, to get back to people first, get back to the constituents of the area, and not so much as the developers, because so far we put development above, you know, the people.
Yeah, what you said, the money, huh?
Yeah, you know, definitely, you know, we need smart development. I'm not against it, but we need to make sure that it benefits all and not just some. I am advocating for cleaner communities, for better roads. I want to make sure that our seniors age in place. So those are things that are truly important to me, and that I want to make sure that, you know, we work with our Board of Education and, you know, all stakeholders, because our children are our futures. And if we, you know, say that, we need to mean it, and then we need to remove any obstacle, you know, that would hinder them from becoming their full potential, because one of those children are going to be the next Sherman, they're going to be the next Ed, you know, they're going to be, you know, or Malcolm, or, you know, anyone else, and we want to make sure that we continue the legacy to help catapult them into their next level as well.
Great, great. Now, Ed, you know, Ed's a good name. You know, I don't know where he got that
See
from,
that.
but anyway, what I like to say is that as far as getting the young people getting ideas, do you find it difficult to get the youngsters involved into the education system along the line that they be knocking the doors down to get in education? Do you think that they feel that education is something, you know, that you need it or you don't need it? You know, how do they feel the beating that you know that you're going through? Some youngsters may stay away from that. Tell us quickly. We can ready to go.
Yeah, so I mean, I think ultimately young people in this county do want a quality education and know that they deserve it for the most part. They know that. And so I think it's our responsibility as leaders to ensure that they have it. And just like Sherman said, if there are obstacles in their way of preventing that from happening, we need to remove those obstacles.
Okay, you heard it from Ed Breaux. He'll be back, what is it, 29th?
That's right.
And so is Sherman. And we want to bring the young people forward. We want information from them. We want them to participate, but then we want to, what do they say, keep them from how the system works. Say, you know, the old time stuff, you know, like we're not going to do certain things because it's against the political system we've been under for the last 400 years.
Right.
Okay? All right, this is Ed Brown, and like I say, we'll see you next time.